Sister wives Kody Brown ensures Robyn's kids get everything. How is Kody Brown doing his best to ensure that Robyn Brown's 5 children get everything in the long run? The Sister Wives star has struggled to have a relationship with most of his children, and he blames them for it. So, how has he further cut them out and replaced them with Robyn's 5? Keep reading for more details. Kody Brown ensures Robyn's kids get everything. Fans may recall that Kody Brown had one legal marriage when Sister Wives began. He had 3 wives, Mary Brown, Janelle Brown, and Cristin Brown Woolley. Yet he was only legally married to Mary, whom he wed in 1990. Together, they had 1 child, Leon Brown, and then he went on to have 12 more children with his other 2 wives. When he met Robyn, she already had 3 children, Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna, from a previous marriage. In 2014, Kody and Mary divorced so he and Robyn could get married. The reason for that was so he could adopt Robyn's children. He did that, but slowly, the family became divided, and when they exited Las Vegas for a new life in Flagstaff, things just crumbled to the ground. They were extremely distant, and then the pandemic hit, and the Browns could not get out of it. In 2021, Cristin left the family with Janelle and Mary following. Cristin has since filed a lawsuit against Kody, and it has proven that he is not on most birth certificates. Though he and Robyn were trying to sell their lavish mansion, they stopped and have since bought a $2.1 million home. They did so under a trust, so if anything happened to Kody Brown, his children would get the house. Those children are Robyn's 5, as they are the only ones he claims, unless Leon Brown is counted. Cristin has demanded a paternity test, but that has yet to be processed. A Reddit thread was started to chat about this trust, and one follower stated this: Robyn has secured her estate and her children's inheritance. This was the plan all along. Kudos to her. Let's see if she keeps Kody around for suits and giggles. One smart cookie. When Robyn Brown married Kody Brown, she came in with debt and alleged she wanted sister wives. Her debt was paid off, and she has gotten rid of those wives within a decade. Though she maintains she misses the large family, not just for her but her kids, she has become Kody's favorite wife. Therefore, he only wanted to be at her house with her kids. Kody said she and her 5 were loyal and obedient, so of course, he is going to make sure they have security long after he is gone. As the Brown family's complex relationships continue to unfold in the latest season of Sister Wives, one story seemed to take center stage: Kody's unwavering devotion to Robyn and her children. Rumors flew among his other wives and their children, each whispering a variation of the same sentiment: Robyn's kids get everything. To the rest of the family, Kody's favoritism toward Robyn's children seemed crystal clear. When Kody had 4 wives and almost 24 kids, splitting his attention was a daily challenge, but as family dynamics shifted, the scale tipped heavily in Robyn's favor. Mary, Janelle, and Cristin, wives who had built lives and homes with him long before Robyn joined the family, watched as he consistently prioritized his youngest wife and her kids. The whispers grew louder, resentment simmering below the surface, and everyone began asking the same question: why did Robyn's kids get everything? It was Thanksgiving, the first without Cristin as an official wife, and tensions were higher than ever. Despite attempts to keep the peace, there were barely veiled remarks and the occasional accusatory glance as the family gathered. The Browns had always used Thanksgiving as a time to reconnect, even if they weren't always seeing eye to eye. This time, however, the annual gathering only emphasized the fractures in the family. The table was beautifully set with all of the traditional Thanksgiving dishes, a feast that Kody insisted on having at Robyn's house. It wasn't uncommon for the family to rotate whose house hosted, but this year, the decision felt different. It was as if Kody was staking a claim on where he belonged. As the meal began, the younger kids sat close to Kody, with Robyn's children nestled around him. Janelle's son, Gabe, watched his father, eyes narrowing as he noticed how Kody doted on Robyn's children, laughing and listening to every little story they had to tell. Gabe shot his mom a glance, one that spoke volumes. Janelle responded with a tired, sympathetic smile. She had noticed too. They all had. Cristin's daughter, Giselle, who had been struggling with her relationship with Kody ever since he missed her spinal surgery, felt her heart twist as she watched him fuss over Robyn's youngest, Ariella. A part of her wanted to be happy for the little girl. After all, every child deserves a present father. But it stung that he could be so present for Robyn's children while seeming to fade from her life. Cristin's departure had been a major turning point for the family. She was the first of Kody's wives to leave, an act that rippled through the entire clan. Her leaving exposed the fractures in their foundation, pushing everyone to confront things that had previously gone unspoken. It forced everyone, particularly the children, to question their places in Kody's life. Mary, the first wife and Kody's longest-standing partner, had already felt her relationship with him slipping away for years. She sat across the table, quietly watching as Kody's gaze remained fixed on Robyn's kids. The smile he reserved for them, the soft chuckle he gave at their jokes, was something she hadn't seen directed at her own daughter, Mariah, in what felt like a lifetime. Mary couldn't help but wonder how things might have been different if she had been able to have more children. If Kody would have given her and her daughter the same attention he now showered upon Robyn's. When dinner was over and everyone began to disperse, Kody pulled Robyn's kids aside for a special conversation, promising them extra time to discuss plans for the upcoming Christmas season. He reassured them he would be there, no matter what. Janelle watched the scene unfold with a mix of frustration and sadness. Her children, who were used to their father's absence by now, barely batted an eye. But the moment struck a nerve for her. She couldn't hold her tongue any longer. "You know, Kody, some of us would like to plan the holidays with you, too." Kody looked up, visibly caught off guard. He glanced back at Robyn's children, a flicker of hesitation crossing his face before he turned to Janelle. "Of course, Janelle. We'll make time for everyone." "Will you?" Janelle's voice was quiet, but her words carried the weight of years. "Because the way things have been going, it feels like some of us are just here for show while others get, well, everything." The room fell silent. Kody shifted uncomfortably, a defensive glint in his eyes. "That's not true, Janelle. You know I love all of my kids." "Do we, though?" Cristin's voice joined in, surprising everyone as she stepped forward. She had decided to stay for dinner for the kids' sake, even though she was no longer a wife in Kody's eyes. "You weren't there for Isabel when she needed you, and now you're treating her like she's an afterthought. How do you think that makes her feel?" Kody looked around the room, feeling cornered. He wanted to defend himself, to tell them they didn't understand. But the truth was right there, staring him in the face. He could see it in each of his kids' eyes, in the disappointed looks from Janelle and Mary, in the raw hurt from Cristin. For Robyn, the entire situation was a nightmare. She knew that Kody's focus on her children had hurt the others, but she couldn't control his actions. Part of her felt grateful, of course, to have a present father for her kids, something she never had before. Yet, she couldn't shake the guilt of being the cause of the rift between Kody and his other children. The following weeks were full of strained conversations and carefully worded messages between family members. Kody, perhaps for the first time, realized that his favoritism had consequences he couldn't simply smooth over with promises. The accusations he had brushed off for so long had finally caught up with him. Christmas came, and this year, the Brown family was more divided than ever. Janelle and her children planned their own celebration, choosing to spend the holiday with Cristin and her kids. Mary, always the peacemaker, stayed back, but even she had grown weary of pretending everything was fine. On Christmas morning, Kody woke to a quiet house, Robyn's kids excitedly unwrapping their gifts beside him. But as he watched them, the reality of what he'd lost began to sink in. This was the first Christmas he hadn't seen some of his other children, the first year he felt like a part of his own family had chosen to celebrate without him. It was a wake-up call, though perhaps too late. For years, he had justified his actions as necessary for keeping the family together, convinced that his attention to Robyn's children would one day be understood by everyone. But as the years had passed, that justification had worn thin, and the emotional costs had become apparent. The resentment, the isolation, and the cracks in the family's foundation were no longer invisible.